Hello, good evening. Welcome back. We are starting right where we left off in our conversation with my dear friend Brigitte Levy, who lives in Jerusalem in Israel. And if this is the first time that you're coming to this channel, then I really would recommend that you go to the video that was posted on Friday morning and watch that video before you watch this, because this is part two of an interview that we had with Brigitte. What's really interesting about Brigitte's life is that, she was kind of going along as, living a secular, albeit Jewish, but a secular life, you know, and it was her 11-year-old daughter who became very curious about Jewish law and about God and about what it means to be Jewish, and spoke to some rabbis and, got the information that she needed and recommended to her mom that they start, becoming, or that they become Shabbat and kosher observant. And of course, Brigitte acceded to these requests. And in trying to do that, it completely turned her life around. It changed her life entirely. She completely upended her life and actually ended up making Aliyah to Israel. What is fascinating now that we're going to hear from Brigitte is how that was for her on the inside. We have heard the story of what changed on the outside and how she was really incredibly inspired and motivated to find ways to use what she already knew how to do in the service of Hashem, in the service of Judaism. So, for instance, she formed an organization and named the organization Mitzvah. Mitzvah became the acronym for this organization. And Mitzvah stands for Minnesotans. They lived in Minneapolis at the time. Minnesotans in transition, seeking vocational assistance. And this is what she used to fulfill the mitzvah of, acts of charity and acts of kindness. She used this organization to help people, to educate them in how to improve their lives. Really quite fascinating. And, there's no point in me talking about what she said. You could actually go and listen to the interview again yourself. But I just wanted to um, emphasize, or make you aware of the changes that happened on the outside. Now, my curiosity was what happened on the inside, because uh, to be able to make those sorts of changes, to have the strength, the fortitude to make those radical changes on the outside, something amazing really had to be going on the inside. How was she able to do that? And so that was my next question to her. So what was happening on the inside? What, because, and the reason it strikes me is that the Brigitte I know, post transformation, of course, the transformation is always going on, but after everything that happened in the United States, the Brigitte I know that I met in Israel is a very different picture from the picture that one would have formed of the woman that she described, when she was in Minneapolis and when she became observant. That's a very different type. The Brigitte I know is, as I said yesterday, really modest. She wears her talent and her expertise and her brilliance really as a loose garment. There is nothing flashy or egotistical about her. And yet when you meet her, you feel the depth, you feel the knowledge, yeah, but you feel the compassion, you feel the love and the dedication uh, to the people of Israel, to Jewish people, to helping people in general. You feel the dedication to Hashem, the dedication to God, the the necessity that she feels really to live in service of Hashem, but in a very unassuming and very calm and quiet manner. So I was really curious in the course of the interview to find out what happened, because that is not something that you can contrive. That's that's uh, that's by divine grace. Something happened on the inside for her, and I wanted to know what that experience was like. So let's go ahead. Let's go hear what Brigitte has to say.
It was because I perceive myself as a self-made person. This is from from my father's. The environment is more like, you develop your intellect and you rely on yourself about everything in life. So relying on to, having now Hashem into my life, it was a tough transition because I had to give up some of the control. Um, and that's how I felt like I had to keep all the pieces together around me all the time. As a mother, and I was a single mother at the time, as a single mother, as a mother of grown-up kids with a tiny child, um, controlling things around myself. Like even in the community, I had to be on the board. It was not enough to work on the committee. I had to always take leadership somewhere. So really giving giving up that control at the beginning was challenging, and then trusting and developing the emunah, the faith and the bitachon, the trust. That took me a long time. That took me a long time. Yeah, I will say it's only recently, after being from for, after being Shomer Mitzvot for about now 24 years. No, it's not even that. 15 years. Yeah, 15 years. I will say it's only recently when I was diagnosed with a heart condition that I decided to give up all the control and to just rely on to Hashem and starting to having someone, like a higher entity guide me. I didn't even allow rabbis to guide me. I did it because I went through the motion. There's something about going through the motion. So I was doing the right thing. That's it. I was doing the right thing all these years. And then one day I had to just let go of the control. And then it was no longer about doing the right thing. It was about establishing a relationship with Hashem. And it's very recent for me to have an actual relationship with Hashem and talking to Hashem. For a long, long time, I didn't know how to talk to Hashem, what to say, what even if I had the prayers in front of me, it didn't feel authentic to me. So it took me a very, very long time to get there. First of all, for this to happen, like I said, I was looking for role models. I wanted to see people who are actually doing it, who are living, and really putting themselves in the hand of Hashem, and allowing Hashem to run the world, and not just on Shabbat, but throughout the week. It's easier to do it on Shabbat because you can just, Shabbat is Shabbat, and you can just
Right.
let be doing it during the week when I had so much, I felt where I had so much power. Like this is when I have power. I don't have, like, I don't need to have the power in my hands on Shabbat. That's not needed to be, you know. But during the week, because you have to make a living and have everything, all the, how do you say, everything points to you when you are leading your life that way. It's like it's everything goes back to you because that's how you set it up. So when I was diagnosed with this heart condition, um, I was thinking, okay, what, like, like, there is no control here. I'm totally like out of control. It's like there's nothing. I cannot tell my heart heal. Like, you know, I didn't feel that I had that power where I could say, hey, heal. Like I know how to help people find a job, right? And help them with parnassa. I cannot do this with my own body. I didn't feel that I had that power, and so I decided to just, you know what, just start talking to Hashem and giving him, look, this is, I don't know what you have in store for me, but this is what I'd like to do for, you know, the next few years, and can you help me and enable me to do it? So I decided to seek, you know, like to, and then I also had that conversation that, okay, so maybe this is not what you want me to do. Maybe you want me to do something else. And actually, that's when my life actually changed. Um, I even moved from one place to the next. I moved to where I am now, and that's when we started to keep Shabbat, but Shabbat in a different way. Like I would invite people at my house. This thing that I always said, I'm not good at cooking. This is not what I'm going to be doing as a front person. Everybody was welcoming us in their houses, and they had like this super Shabbat table, and the food was amazing. And I didn't know how to do this. I saw my mom doing it, my grandmother doing it, but I didn't think that I had this in me. There's one thing about planning an event, you know, for a company, but something else to actually open your house with, you know, graciously and keep smiling even when things feel really difficult, and doing it with joy and doing it, you know, with velocity. Um, I didn't know how to do it with joy, because that's why I said I don't want to entertain. I saw it as something very burdensome, very difficult, and I didn't think I was up to that task. So when I started to really um, give away that power and to whom it belongs, you know, Hashem runs the world, and realizing that that's what it is, and I will live as long as Hashem allows me to live. And yes, I will have to do my ishtadlut and eat properly and exercise and do what the doctors are telling me to do, but it's up to Hashem to give me a long life or a short life. So it's whatever was designed for me. So um, that's when I started to really appreciate my life, first of all.
Wow.
And second of all is the who am I for others. Up until now, it's like, you know, here I am doing this for others, and this is a mitzvah, and I'm doing it with velocity at the expense of me. It's like it didn't matter. I could be doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning at the expense of my health. I didn't think of myself. It was too much chesed. So I started to really evaluate, okay, what can I do, what I cannot do, what I think I can do. I would check actually with my doctors. I would check with people around me. I started to ask for help around me. And that's when actually things uh, fell into place, and we started to host Shabbatot to the point of we have now 21 person per meal.
Wow. Wow. Isn't that just the quintessential story of spiritual transformation? And what just, knocks my socks off is how naturally it all seemed to proceed. And I noticed that when Brigitte actually began to pray, it didn't come from oh, okay, now I've got to go pray and da da da, da, and just, recite these words. When she began to have the real kavanah that we talk about, the real focus, the real intention, the prayer from the heart, um, was literally when the experience moved from her head to her heart, like her emotions were involved, her spirit got involved. And I love that she pointed out that she still had to take action. She still had to go through the physical motions of a mitzvah. And this is the great thing. And we learn this, we're taught this over and over again. There are the three garments, if we look a little bit here at Hasidic Judaism, at the teachings of the Alter Rebbe, the Balatanya, the founder of the Chabad Hasidic movement, that there are three garments that we wear as actors in this world, so to speak, representatives of our creator. We wear the garment of thought, the garment of speech, and the garment of action. And when we speak about thought, we really are including the emotions as well. And what we found with Brigitte is that we saw that garment of action in service to Judaism, in service to Torah. I'm going to do the mitzvot. I'm going to have this organization. I'm going to name it mitzvah, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to um, give tzedakah. I'm going to give charity. I'm going to do acts of kindness. I'm going to help people. I'm going to, be in the action of my Judaism, so to speak. And what we found happening, and I love the way she described what happened to her, because that is what happened. What we found happening was that there's that point where, you're doing all of this and you really think you're doing it. You forget that doing the work of Hashem is actually allowing Hashem to work through you. Um, it's not really you in the way that you've defined yourself as this kind of egoic character. Um, and I think that her story so beautifully exemplifies and illustrates that idea. Judaism is a way of life. It's not just a religion, something that you go do off in some temple somewhere, and then you come out and do something else. It permeates every fiber of your being. Judaism is your whole self. It's an entirety of self-expression in the world. So what an incredible story. So the next part of this, and I think we are going to wrap part 2 here, and then we're going to have the final part. Well, what do you think? Yeah, I'm thinking probably, after about 20 minutes, we're going to take a break. So let's wrap part 2, and I'll go ahead and put part 3 together and upload that. Part 3 is going to be the story of how she, we've heard a little bit of it about it, but we're going to see more of what she is doing today.